All right, this is Taz Street with Positive Out Loud. Today I have a very awesome guest here on Positive Out Loud. I have one of my childhood best friends, which is Heather Nelson.
Hi.
And hi, Heather. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And for you to get this message out, that is so important. And the message we're getting out tonight, folks, is something that affects a whole ton of people. Because Heather is a stage 4 cancer survivor. She's been through a lot, and we wanted to get her on here to tell us her story and what has helped her survive and what has helped her thrive. So, Heather, first of all, the first question I want to ask you, we can get the show on the road, is tell me a little bit about how this all started and how were you feeling in the beginning and what was going on and how did you find out?
So it started out where I was getting female pains in my female area, and they got so bad. I went to the OB. She said, we need to go get an ultrasound. I got an ultrasound. She said, you need to go back to the OB immediately, that they found something, but they didn't want to tell me what it was. Mm-hmm. And then I went back to the OB, and she goes, we need to go and scrape your ovaries because you have cysts the size of grapefruits on both of them. Mm-hmm. And that's why you're in so much pain. So I said, okay, that's fine. Let's set up the surgery. We had set it up for 3 weeks after I was in to see her. And the day I went in for the surgery, I was up to 7 pain pills a day and nothing was happening. The pain just wouldn't subside. So
what type of pain pills were you taking?
I was taking oxycodone.
You were taking 7 a day. Wow.
7 a day, and functioning at work 8 to 10 hours a day.
Wow. How are you doing that?
I know. I honestly don't know how I did that. Wow. So I went into the surgery and I said, please take care of me. I really just need this pain to go away. Mm-hmm. So she said, don't worry about it. Everything will be fine. It's a 45-minute surgery. So when I fell asleep in the surgery room, that's what I felt. That's what I thought I was doing, just getting cysts scraped off my ovaries. Mm-hmm. So when I woke up, it was nighttime. It had been 12 hours later. My husband was sitting next to me, who was not supposed to pick me up. My friend was going to pick me up because it was an outpatient surgery. Mm-hmm. And I looked over to him and I said, what are you doing here? And he just looked at me with that look. And mm-hmm. I didn't understand what was going on. Mm-hmm. The surgeon came over. And I said, hey, what's going on? Am I okay? And he just spurted it out like it was no big deal. You have cancer. And I said, excuse me? He goes, you have cancer. And we're not really sure where it is yet. So we're going to have to go back in, do a colonoscopy, and figure out where it's coming from. And
so the doctor wasn't very compassionate?
Not at all.
Oh.
Not at all.
Right.
He basically said, you're going to have to do chemotherapy. We're going to have to do more exploratory surgery and figure out where it is, and then take the tumor out.
So what were you thinking when you heard that? What was the first thing that was going through your mind?
I was very sad. I had a child that was 4 years old. Mm-hmm. And of course, whenever you hear the word cancer, you think you're going to die. So it was very hard on me because I didn't know what was going to happen. It didn't run in my family. I didn't really know anything about it. So I had to start researching it. And that's the worst thing you could do is research cancer because everything on the internet.
Oh God.
is
research. When you know something's happening to you and you go online and you're like, you put it in, no matter what it is, it's always worse than it ever could be, right? It's crazy.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing surgery. I got, the tumor was in the right ascending colon. They found that from the colonoscopy. Mm-hmm. And they just determined, hey, we need to go in, we need to take the tumor out. You may get a colostomy bag, you may not get a colostomy bag, and then do chemotherapy. We're going to put a port in. You can administer all the drugs.
So when did they go in and do the surgery then? How long was that from?
The surgery was 2 days after they told me I had cancer. So I didn't really have enough time to even understand what was going on. And
so you had surgery at first to remove what was going on in your ovaries, right?
And what had happened with the ovaries, when they went in there, they could see that the ovaries had been, it looked like there were claw marks on both ovaries. Then they'd been eaten up, and that's why they were growing and growing and growing. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was in so much pain. I had gained somewhere between 15 to 18 pounds within a 3-week period because the cancer had been eating it. My type of tumor that I had it was a tumor that started growing on the outside of the right ascending colon in my body. So it started to burrow itself up into my colon. Well, once it got into the colon, there was a little tail that was left on it. That tail fell onto my ovaries and ate them within a 3-week period, leaving the golf ball sized tumor in my colon, which is what they went in to take out and repair. They took 12 inches out of my colon. But one thing I want to tell you, that before I had that surgery, the night before I had that surgery, I was praying and praying. I really didn't want the colostomy bag, but who wants that, you know?
Yeah.
So before I fell asleep, I just said, you know, please God, just be with me. When I fell asleep, I had a vivid dream of my great-grandfather, my great-grandmother, and my grandma. They were all at a party. They were all having a great time. And I was screaming at them, hey, you know, what's going on? I want to be part of your party. And my great-grandfather looked at me, walked over to me with a smile on his face. I can still see it to today. And he put his hand on my shoulder and said, you're already healing. You're already healing. And that's something that seems like it was so real, so real. And then he walked back to the couch, sat down with my great-grandmother and my grandma, and then all three of them turned, looked at me and smiled, and I woke up. And I said, I guess I'm going to be okay. I don't really know how I'm going to be okay, but I'm going to be okay. And the next day,
that dream gave you the faith to know that everything was going to be okay. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you went in that day to get the surgery done, how were you feeling after that dream? Did it really help you out? You think that it helped shift your mindset?
It did. I knew I was very uneducated in chemotherapy. I was very uneducated in the radiation and in anything that had to do with cancer. So I went ahead and I opted to do the chemotherapy, get the port put in, and I prayed. I am a big advocate of Reiki. So when I got home from the hospital, which I was in there for 31 days, I really wasn't sure I was going to make it out of the hospital. But when I got home, I started doing Reiki. I started, friends came over several occasions to do Reiki on me, and that helped. So I knew that on top of doing the medicine, traditional medicine, I was going to definitely do holistic as well. And
so tell me a little bit about what happened in 31 days. Why did you said that you didn't know for sure if you're going to make it home. What happened during that time?
I didn't know how bad the cancer was until the doctor came in and said it was stage 4. Well, there was no stage 5. So I had to have a miracle from God to be able to leave the hospital. And I think with my grandfather coming to me in my dreams and letting me know that I was going to be okay, that it helped. But I had to heal, and I was on lots of medicine in the hospital. I don't even remember a lot of that time. And then I'd taken off 3 months from work too to heal. I ended up only being off for, I think it was 8 weeks. And then I went right back to work and to a full-time job because I didn't want to think about it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was difficult. But then through this journey, I literally was on chemotherapy for 3 years. I did over 90 treatments. Each treatment was 3 days at a time. I wore a bag home for 3 days. I got it on a Friday, took it back on a Sunday. And after 3 years, the doctor told me that I was going to have to be on chemotherapy forever.
So what was that like being on chemotherapy? How did it feel? What did it do to your body? How did you feel before, after, during? How did that?
When you're on chemotherapy, it's like something is going through your veins and it stings. And then when you get it taken off, the chemotherapy is killing the bad cancer cells, but it's also killing the good cells in your body as well. So you're so drained from that, you fall asleep. I mean, I would be on it for 3 days, but then I would be sleeping for 7 days. I mean, I honestly don't know how I worked a 40-hour-a-week job. I did. And I know there's times that I fell asleep at my desk. There's no doubt about it. And I really don't know how I got through it. And when you're done with chemotherapy, they put a shot in you called Neulasta. And Neulasta is supposed to keep your white blood cell count up.
Mm-hmm.
That shot it's horrible. It makes your body feel like a brick. And if somebody even touches 1 ounce of your skin, you are in excruciating pain. It feels like you're on fire, and it's horrible, but you had to have it. So what I would do is the Friday when I would get hooked up to chemotherapy, I would ask for my test results for my blood test that I had the day before. And if my white blood cell count was up, I wasn't getting that. It was my choice.
Oh, gotcha.
To take that medicine. They wanted me to have it. Of course they did. Mm-hmm. I chose not to take those. And I did my best to stay well. I was lucky. I never got sick when I was diagnosed with cancer. I never got the flu. I never even got a cold. It was wonderful. And sometimes, people who get sick with that, if they're not so lucky, their immune system is so compromised, and mine was totally compromised. But I know from the things that I was doing,
mm-hmm.
I do a whole bunch of different holistic treatments that it helped ease.
Now, were you doing those holistic treatments while you were getting chemo?
I was doing the Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing massages. Okay. I was doing juicing. Juicing was a big part. I changed all my eating habits, and that to me is holistic because that's not part of their regimen when you go into the doctor's office. They're all about chemo, radiation, treatment. That's all, in surgery, and that's it. Right. They don't want to hear that, hey, juicing might help, I'm detoxing my body. They don't want to hear, hey, I'm drinking green tea and I'm feeling a lot stronger from it. They don't want to hear that because they're not going to get paid if you don't take their medicine. I've learned a lot about big pharma. If you're not sick, they're not making any money. So they're going to push everything they can on you to do it. Which it does work in sometimes, don't get me wrong. Right. I wouldn't change what I did. But now I'm educated and it wouldn't happen again.
I know here in Seattle, I know that like the Seattle Care Center and that sort of thing, they do like they're able to integrate both things into their treatment. So they do have the holistic side, and then they also have, if people have to do chemotherapy. So I think it's great that it's come a long way since you've had cancer. I'm sure it has. Right?
I can honestly tell you, in the 3 years that I had chemotherapy, there was a nutritionist in our office. I didn't even know it was there.
Wow.
The only reason I started changing was because I went to a seminar on integrated health medicine and learned about all these other treatments that I could take during chemotherapy, which included the infrared sauna for detoxifying all the heavy metals from your body, which chemo has so many chemicals. I could see it pour out the first week I was in the sauna in black ash on my towels. So I knew something was there.
Yeah.
When I had decided 3 years into treatment that I was going to stop everything, that was not only chemotherapy, but that was all the medicines I was taking as well. Antidepressants, pain meds, anxiety medicine. And the day I decided to do that is the day that I started the infrared sauna on a 7-day week, starter package. During those 7 days, I never detoxed from any of those medicines that I'd been on for 3 years. And I know for a fact I'd missed a pill in the past and I got sick from it. And I had to take it to make my system normal again. I never once detoxed from or withdrew from anything. And I know it was the sauna for sure. Absolutely. And I thought, oh, this is going to be good. So when I went back after those 7 days to my doctor to let her know that, hey, I'm not going to do treatment anymore. My family was very upset with me, but it was my choice. I didn't want to do it anymore. I couldn't take it anymore.
So were you in remission at all during those 3 years, or?
I was.
Okay.
I was. And the doctors would just say, you need to keep taking this medicine to stay well. But if there's nothing in my body that says I have cancer, why do I have to keep taking that medicine?
Right.
It's just compromising my immune system over and over and over and over. So when I walked out of the treatment center that day, I got a sign up in the sky. I know it was a sign. There was smoke from the backs of the airplanes that come out when you're in an airplane. There was 2 of them that were formed into a V like this. And that to me was victory. You made the right choice. keep going on your holistic path. And that's what I've been doing ever since then. So since August of 2015 is when I started completely just going holistic. And I've been clean ever since. I go every 4 months to get testing, and I've never had anything detected at all since then. Nothing. I'm a miracle.
You are a miracle. And how do you feel now compared to 2015 to now? How are you feeling? And of course, you've been in remission the whole time. So how has that changed from being on chemo to now?
I feel better now than I've ever felt in my life. I may not be the thinnest person, but I'm alive and I'm breathing, and I'm able to keep up with my 11-year-old son, he's 11 now. So I wouldn't change anything. I feel so good. It's amazing. If we can just use the things that God gave us, we can get well. And more people just need to know that. They just need to know that.
So tell us a little bit about what you do on a daily basis to help you stay healthy.
So I get up each morning and I drink a green tea, a huge glass of green tea. There's so many antioxidants in them. I also take a vitamin that has ginger, curcumin, black pepper, and turmeric in it. Ginger is great for an antioxidant and settling the stomach. Ginger, too. If there's any inflammation, it's great on inflammation. I also take CoQ10, which is another supplement for your stomach. And I take a multivitamin with fermented mushrooms in it.
Oh, mushrooms are so good for you. I take this spray that I take every day, and everybody around me has been getting sick, but I've been okay so far. Knock on wood.
Well, and that's another thing, it must be working because, like you say, people are around you are sick. I haven't gotten sick, so I'm doing something right. I also do what they call, well, for a shorter term, coffee enemas, but it's pretty much colon hydrotherapy with coffee. And what that does is cleans out your whole colon system. In addition to, when you use the coffee, it stimulates the liver to detox as well. And I do that once a month. And I do the infrared sauna once a week. I've also now incorporated exercise in there, and I'll go and exercise 2 to 3 times a week, depending on the time. But I do that religiously. I've been at that sauna. I actually went this evening, and I've been there over 3 years. Oh, wow. And I've gone every week. And if you miss a week, then the following week I would just go 2 weeks. So if anything ever happened to that, you can always buy them for your house as well. And I would just get one for my house, because I know for a fact I can't live without my infrared sauna. It's the best thing that's ever worked on me.
Well, it sounds like it detoxed all those chemicals that you were putting into your body to kill all your cells in your body, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, it does. And the good thing about it is it also helps your skin. So in addition to detoxifying your body, you're also helping your skin regrow. So it's a win-win situation.
So as we know, I mean, as I've been studying, we're all made of energy, right? So you were talking about Reiki and how that, helped you as well. So how often have you done like the energy type healing work and massage? How do you incorporate that in?
So for Reiki, I try to do it once a month. If I can get it into twice a month, I'll do it. I think that the power of the person doing the Reiki on you is very powerful when they are calling on their archangels or calling on, other modalities into their hands. You can feel them working on you. For sure, you can feel them working on you. You can feel that power, that heatness, and they're taking everything away from you. They really are, and you got to be positive, and you got to have an open mind. But if you have that, there's no stopping you. There's no stopping you. And for massage, I actually not only do regular massage, I just started doing over the last 5 or 6 months lymphatic massages. So that works your whole lymphatic system. Now, when you're done with that massage, you're in the bathroom. You pee a lot after that, but you're getting everything out that, you normally wouldn't get out, because your lymphatic system is so hard to detox, because really the only way to detox it is jumping up and down on a trampoline, and working everything in there in your lymphatic system, or getting a massage. Otherwise it just sits there and it gets icky, and you need to have that cleaned. You've got to have it. And I didn't know that back then like I do now. So with what I know now and putting it into my everyday life, for me, I feel like I'm going to live a lot longer now. Maybe I'm going to get to see grandkids someday.
This is amazing. So what have you done, like on an emotional level? Have you had to work on things inside yourself, or how did that work for you? I'm sure, I mean, because you had to go through a whole lot just for this whole journey in itself. So what do you think has helped you in that aspect?
Emotionally, I'm probably still need to get things out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've ever really, well, no, I never really did accept the fact that I was going to die. That wasn't on my radar, and I was just going to do whatever I needed to do to stay alive. And through that journey, I found other things that were holistic to help me,
Mm-hmm.
in addition to traditions. So I think, honestly, I probably do need to work on that. I could use a really good cry. it definitely, it weighs on me. And I know when the time is right, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
I need to work on that for sure. For sure.
And I was thinking about when you were talking about how you just knew you were going to survive. You didn't even think of that death was an option. So do you think that helped you and your mindset, that you knew you're going to do whatever it takes? I mean, because you knew that this thing was not bigger than you. Is that how you kind of felt?
I had to. I had to stay positive. I heard a doctor once say a negative thought can kill you faster than a germ. And I've stuck with that. You have to stay positive. It's half the battle. If you can stay positive, you're going to want to find things that are going to help you. Because once you give into the fact that, hey, I'm sick and I'm going to die, whatever it is inside your body knows that you said that, and it's going to start to eat away at you, and you're going to die. Mm-hmm. But if you keep that positivity, just a little ounce of it, you're going to live. You'll figure out whatever it is you need to do.
So where does this deep faith come from you? How did that first come about, where you're like, this is what I believe in, this is what I feel, this is what I know is beyond what we can see here on earth? What really brought you to that?
Well, I grew up Catholic, so I always went to church every Sunday. I always believed in a higher power. Okay. But I have to say, probably the reason I believe so much in it is because of having a child. It's a miracle from God. How does a baby grow? I mean, I know they say it's science and whatnot, but it's more than that. It's a miracle. So if I can have a miracle like that, why can't I believe in a miracle in myself that I'm going to live to take care of this person that grew inside my body? Mm-hmm. It's unspeakable how wonderful having a baby is. And it made me believe a lot more after I had him. A lot more. There's got to be something else out there. So there's times too that I've felt the presence, like when I had my surgery. I know my grandfather, great grandfather was there. And you met my great grandfather actually when we lived in Etna. It's very powerful. I know when people are around me. I know when someone's trying to tell me something. I can sense it. My son in the past has seen spirits, and when they're trying to talk to us, we really just want to see what they want to tell us. So we're sensitive, and they can get a message to us, and I know there's something better out there. So I'm very, very spiritual when it comes to that. Mm-hmm.
So you're open to that. And so tell us a little bit about what you can do with the cards that you have.
Oh, my angel cards?
Yes.
So I do angel readings, and then I also do pendulum readings. So what I'll try to do if I'm talking to somebody is kind of get in tune with them, try to get into their inner soul, and have them ask questions. And whatever comes to me, I'll either write it down or just say it. And for the most part, I always started off with, I only want positivity to come through. I don't want anything negative. So if this is going to help this person have a better day, then I did my job. And whatever comes through, I will tell them. And it's worked out good. I'm not anything special. I'm just trying to pass along a message from the other side, or maybe from their angels or their spirit guides that maybe they didn't catch on to on their own. But we all have it inside of us. If we have that open heart and that open mind, we'll be able to get the signs of what people are telling us around outside. And if we're, they don't have to be in physical form for us to see that. We can hear it, we can sense it. We might hear a song on the radio. Oh yeah, that's something that, so-and-so said. So you just got to be aware of your surroundings.
I know sometimes I've been doing this meditation at night and, or in the daytime mostly now, and part of the meditation is like a guided meditation is what the person is saying. You will see like a sign and know that things are going to be shifting and changing for you. And then when I look around, there's like certain things that pop up that, really wouldn't come up any other way. It's like really bizarre. But yeah, when you get yourself, and I think in that zone where you know that there's more to life than what we see here, and you really pay attention to what's going on, because the universe is always giving us clues. But you can ask the universe, hey, I just don't want a clue. I want to know for sure, right?
Right.
Please show me something where I know for sure that you're talking to me.
And if you really concentrate on it, you'll get it. You'll get it. And it's going to happen when you least expect it. So you have to be aware all the time. All the time. Somebody may come into your life. Everything happens for a reason. I'm not angry that I got cancer. It helped my life tremendously. It helped a relationship with my father that I didn't talk to him in over 20 years. And when I got sick, I mended that. There's just other things that happen to you that will lead you down a better road. Because if that wouldn't have happened to me, I know I'd be in a worse off place than I was. Because I was in a bad place when that happened. And I looked at life differently. And now I don't sweat the small stuff. I really don't care if there's a stapler out of place on my desk. I really don't care if I misplaced a report. I'll find it, because it's not worth getting mad over when you know that you face death. So you don't sweat the small stuff, and you just look at life differently. You just do. You want to live each day as it's your last. You want to live in the moment, and you want to just have a good time in life, and just live in that moment, and have a good day.
So since you came that close to death, do you think that you're still afraid of it, or do you think that it's something that you were able to just look at it right in the eye and it's okay now? You're okay with it?
No, I'm not okay with it. I'm not. I don't like talking about it. I don't like. It's not something that I don't like talking about it. It's horrible. If someone says something to me about it, I try to just change the subject.
Oh, wow.
I don't have a will. I need to do that. It's very hard for me to talk about death. I know it happens. It's going to happen. And I hope I'm 95 or 100 when it happens. But it's just, I don't know. It's a weird subject that I just have a really hard time, and I get very defensive about it when people start talking about it. And it's just a fact of life, but it's not something I just don't like it.
Right. I mean, a lot of people don't. You're not the only one, trust me.
But I know some people that work like in the medical field, or even spiritual field. I mean, and I'm spiritual, and I know that I'm going to go to heaven when I pass, but it's like, I want to live a really long life.
You're really enjoying your life right now.
I am. I'm enjoying it a lot more now, I can say, than I did before I was ill, because, I let things bother me that I didn't need to let bother me.
What kind of things would bother you before you knew you had cancer? Like, what were things that would make you upset compared to how you are now?
If we couldn't go on vacation on a certain day, I would get mad. Or if we had a meeting at work that might have got changed to an hour later, I would get so mad about it. And it was no big deal. Or if somebody said that they were going to go out with me and they decided to do something else with someone else, I would get mad about it. And now I just don't care. And I don't know if that's because I'm older or whatnot either. But I really don't care. I just want to go to work, do what I need to do, take my son to wherever he needs to go to bed, just be very thankful and wake up the next morning and go, thank you, God, that you let me wake up to another day, and just go about my day and be happy. I'm totally okay with that. I don't need to be rich. I don't need to be, you know, in all the places where everybody is. I just need to be me, and I need to be happy and just be calm and go about my day. And really, it's not that hard.
It's pretty simple,
People make
right?
it too hard. Yeah. People make it way too hard. Really.
Well, it sounds like you made it hard on yourself before you had cancer. And the cancer must have been a gift to you to show you that how precious life is, right? And
absolutely
not let all this small stuff get to you. And my gosh, I think that's pretty incredible.
I feel like I needed to be a people pleaser, and I needed to have everybody like me. And now I choose who I want into my life. I don't need to have everybody like me. It doesn't matter to me anymore. It really doesn't matter, because the people now that come into my life are people that I choose to bring into my life. And I'm okay with that.
Well, yeah, because whoever you bring into your home, you want good energy no matter where you are, because you know how important that is now compared to how you. And I would imagine if you would get so upset about those little things in life beforehand, did you feel like you weren't as happy, and you would get so frustrated, and it just wasn't as fun? Life just was kind of like, it was hard, wasn't it?
I didn't talk to my dad for almost 20 years. That's pretty pathetic. Pathetic. Right. And I wasted all that time. And then when I did talk to him, he died a year and a half later from cancer, ironically. Never having it in the family, and then us getting it within a year and a half of each other. So I wasted all that time. And that's another thing that really made me think about things that should never have happened.
So did you have, what type of relationship did you have with him when you were young? Was he not there? What happened with that?
He was an alcoholic, and he literally would get up and drink all day, all night. He would function. He would go to work. He was a good provider, but really never there mentally. He was always high, always. And if something happened, he would fall or he would do something stupid. My mom would always defend him, and it was not a good upbringing. He never hit us, nothing like that. But it was just seeing that, and it made me not want to be like that in my life. So that helped, but he also made me become very stubborn and independent, and not very nice at times. And I feel bad that I did a lot of things I did to him. I know it was a disease, and I should have probably went to treatment for it or learned more about it. Instead, I just kind of went with what everybody else said, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
So did he ever go to get help, or was he just always an alcoholic?
From what I remember, he got help once, and I remember going to Al-Anon meetings, but that didn't last very long. My mom told us that she liked him better when he was drinking. So I was very young when that happened. So when I was to a point where I understood what was going on, he was always drinking. So it was it was when I was a little kid.
So did your parents finally get divorced, or?
No, they stayed together.
They stayed together.
They stayed together for, well, let's see, if I'm 47 now, he passed when I was about 42, but they'd still be married today. So over 40 years they were married. And I honestly don't know why she stayed married. It was a hard life for her too, for sure.
Yeah.
He would really verbally abuse her, where he wouldn't do it to us, but he would do it to her. And, she was a strong woman for staying with him.
A lot of patience, a lot of love. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it sounded like it was more like an emotional neglect for you and for the whole family.
Oh, basically. Definitely. He never was at baseball games. He was never at anything that we would do. And it took a toll on us. But he'd always say he was working or he was drunk and he couldn't make it there. So we just kind of wrote it off.
So when you decided to want to have him back in your life, what made you decide that, and then how did that happen? How did that occur?
Well, when I got sick, I felt like if something happened to me, I just wanted to make amends with him and just tell him that, you know, I'm sorry for everything that I did. And I picked up the phone one day and I was like, okay, this is it. This is the day that I do it. And I did it. It was like this huge weight was lifted off of my shoulder. And we talked probably once a week after that until he passed away. Now, I must say, too, that growing up, I was always told that he was not my father, my real biological father. So that was another issue where I felt like he shouldn't tell me what to do because he's not my father. But I can tell you, since his passing, I did do DNA testing, and he is the father. He is the father.
Wow.
So it makes sense though, because I act a lot like him. Not intentionally, but that's the way I know. And it honestly, it's made me a better person to where I am independent and I am a stickler on a lot of things, but not in the way that he was. Mine is more on a positive note. Like, this is what I do for work. This is what we're going to eat for dinner. You know, this is how we're going to pay for the house. I became an accountant because he always instilled in me, you have to be an accountant because everybody's going to want to hire you. They are always wanted. And he was absolutely right. I can always find a job. So there's things that he did instill in me. He made me to the point where I moved out when I was young, and he had to help my sister because she really wasn't that independent and didn't really know how to take care of herself, where he knew I did. And so maybe that was part of the reason too why he didn't want to spend that much time with me, because he knew I'd be okay.
Right.
I'll never know really the real reason, but you know, I did make amends with him, and I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that. I feel good about that. He's never really visited me since his passing, but I know there's certain times that he's there. If I hear a song on the radio, I know that he's hanging around.
That's great that you have that connection that you know that you can feel from the other side, because you know, a lot of people don't. So
Definitely.
So tell us a little bit about the exciting news that's happening now in your life, where you're going here in a week, and what's going on with that.
So my son is very blessed to be going to Paris, France, and we are going to be there while he walks in Paris Fashion Week.
Woo!
I'm very excited. I've never been to Paris, and I'm hoping that Leonardo DiCaprio's there. I would love to see him. So we're very excited. My son is just, I've been blessed with someone who loves the entertainment industry as much as I do. So he acts and he does commercials, and now he's modeling, and who knows where that'll take him, you know?
Right.
And then I'm also starting a new website called Heather's Helping Hands, where I can help coach people who may or may not be having an illness, just someone who wants to better their life. I've been certified in that, and I would love to help anybody who is, you know, at a crossroads and they're not really sure what to do. I would love to just get them on the right track. So those are two things I'm very excited about.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to somebody, since we were really focused on with your cancer, what is something, when somebody first finds out this is what's going on with them, what would you tell them? How would you help them, lead them through their worries?
The first thing I would tell them is to take a deep breath, because just because someone tells you you have cancer, it does not mean you're going to die. It does not mean you're going to die.
From somebody who had stage 4.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
let's figure out what it is that you have, you know, because sometimes when they hear that, they don't even know the diagnosis, like me. They just said I had cancer, but they didn't know where it was because they couldn't find it. So they just need to take that breath and then decide what they want to do. Nothing is right or wrong. If you decide that you want to do chemotherapy or radiation or surgery, totally up to you, do it. But I can always say, go with your gut. If you're talking to a doctor and they don't fit what you feel they should for you, you need to leave. You need to find a doctor that you're cohesive with, and that's going to help you through your journey, whatever it is that you choose. And you don't find a lot of doctors like that. Now, for me, I found a great doctor. She's Indian, amazing, amazing doctor. And I would also tell them that, you know, they're going to choose whether or not they want to live or die. I know that seems odd, but I chose to live. And I know if I would have chose to die, then I would have died. I chose to live, and you will find anything in your power to make you do that. You will try anything. But there's things out there that work. So they just need to do their research, and whatever decision that person comes up with is going to be the right answer. It may not always be what the doctor tells them to do. It's whatever they feel like they need to do. They need to go with their gut. So I would tell them, number one, stay positive, take a deep breath, go with your gut. Those are three main things, for sure, for sure.
Awesome. So make sure that when you go to Paris, you get me a magnet. I love
I will get you a magnet. I promise. I promise.
Magnets. I have, in fact, I had my coworker that just went to Paris. She went to Europe and was there for like a month. Is it a month or 30 days or something? She just went all over. So I said, all I want is a magnet. But, you know, she ended up bringing this chocolate back from Switzerland.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah. Very smooth, very smooth.
So I think my last question here, Heather, is what are some things that you do for fun now where you can just, you know, go off on your own just for you time? What is it that you do for you so other people can know how important that is?
I like to travel. So I like to go to Sedona, Arizona. That for me is a very spiritual place where I can get grounded. I try to go there 2 or 3 times a year, but they have red rocks there, and they are so amazing and so powerful. You can get rejuvenated just from being there for one day. It's amazing. You can just feel it in the air. Another thing I like to do is extreme things. I wasn't really sure in the past. I like to jump off things. So
I like to jump off it.
I've jumped off.
Not your bed, other things.
I know. I've jumped off the Stratosphere Hotel and Casino out here in Las Vegas. I love zip lining. I love. I probably wouldn't jump out of a plane. I'm not quite there yet. I may someday.
When you're ready, I would like to do that. I'm not quite there either, but we're gonna have to go do it together.
I may do that. And I love going to amusement parks and going on the extreme roller coasters. I love it. And luckily my son loves it. So we go there maybe 2 or 3 times a year somewhere in California and have a blast for sure.
So you love going, I just can't handle those rides anymore. I used to when I was a kid, but now it's like, no way.
You know, I have to say, we were just at Knott's Berry Farm not too long ago, and I did get afraid on one of the rides, and that's never happened to me. But it was amazing. I had a great time, but I was like, ooh, am I just getting a little bit too old now where I'm a little bit afraid that we're so high? But right away.
Well, we just went to Disneyland this year, and Rachel and her family went on, is it Space Mountain where they just come straight down, or is that the water one?
I think it's the water one.
Yeah, whatever that water one is, they come straight down, and then they take a picture of people right when they're coming down, and all their faces look like ghosts. It's just, why would you put yourself through that? I don't understand.
So you didn't go on that one?
No.
I don't know what it is about those rides. I've gone to those amusement parks my entire life, and I love them. I love them.
I can remember when we were kids, we used to I think it was at my apartment where we turned off all the lights and it was pitch dark, and we play hide and seek and scare each other to death. Do you remember that?
It was Jason. We played Jason. That's what it was, and we would play. And Jason would come get us.
I don't remember the Jason part. I just remember being frightened out of my life.
Yeah, that was fun though. Those were good times. Those are good times.
Yeah.
Very good times.
I don't know if I'd want to do that now though, but hey, when you're a kid, you like those intense emotions, right?
Oh, and one other thing I did too that was pretty amazing is after I knew I was free of cancer, I decided each year I was going to run in something, whatever it is. But the past 3 years, I ran in the Sedona Marathon. Now, the first 2 years I did the 5K, but last year I did the 10K.
Wow.
And I'm working myself up. I'm not really sure I'm going to do the half marathon this year, but I did do the 10K last year, and I did it in an hour and 44 minutes. And it was very, very exhilarating. You know, I don't know that I could have done that 5 or 6 years ago. Because when you're on the chemotherapy, it really stunts your breathing, and it's hard to breathe or get anything in your system. So I was very happy that I did that.
Well, most people can't even imagine doing that, even if they don't had cancer in the past. So, you know.
I did already sign myself up for the one in February, so I'm excited.
Is that in Las Vegas?
It's in Sedona.
Oh,
there
Sedona.
is one here, though, in November, but I believe it is a half marathon, and I'm not sure I'm going to do that one yet. But I do try to do one a year.
And do you walk and run, or how does that work for you?
I jog, and then if I'm going downhill, I will start running. But I try not to walk. I try to just do a light jog and then a fast run if I'm going downhill, because I can catch up a little bit of time there. But my goal was 2 hours. So in an hour and 44 minutes, I felt like, hey, I hit my goal, and it was good. And it was beautiful scenery.
As long as you finish, it doesn't matter how long it takes,
that's
right?
very true. I didn't care as long as I finished, because that was really going out of my comfort zone doing a 10K. I'm so used to doing the 5s. So when I amped it up, I'm like, what did I do? What was I thinking?
Well, I told you I was just at the fair, right? We were there for 7.5 hours, and my feet hurt so bad after walking that long. I don't know how I would be able to do any 5K or 10Ks. Oh my God. Does your feet hurt really bad when you were done? Yeah.
I always make sure that I plan a massage like 2 or 3 hours after it's over, so that I'll feel good the next day.
And then get into the red sauna or the infrared sauna? Yes. And when you're on that because eventually I want to try that out. So when you're doing the 5K, 10K, what is it? What do you eat? What kind of things? How do you prepare for that?
I do a lot of protein balls where they have peanut butter, flaxseed, oats, honey, and I'll eat those during the day. And at night, I try to do a lot of salads, lots and lots of salads. I try not to have anything heavy at all. But I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat at all. So it's hard to get your protein. So those protein balls are really good because they give you all the protein you need.
So were you a vegetarian before the cancer, or did you decide to do it afterwards?
I was. I just don't really care for meat. I don't like the way people treat animals. So I chose when I was in high school to become a vegetarian, and I just kind of stuck with it. But I made better choices on organic salads and organic lettuces where I didn't care in the past. I do care now. I don't want them treated with the Roundup, so I try to go more organic if they have it.
Yeah, because I know that, you know, I've been watching so many different type of documentaries that is so bad for you to have. Yeah, it's salad and it's good for you, but when you have all those chemicals in it, you're just kind of balancing it. It just, it's not good for the body.
So many chemicals in our food. It's ridiculous. And I know growing up, it wasn't like that. It just wasn't like that. You could eat whatever you want and be healthy, and you can't do that nowadays. You really got to look at every ingredient. So I do try to buy organic as much as I can.
So what are your goals for the next 5 years? What is it that you want to accomplish now, you think, now that you're feeling great, everything is going amazing for you now? Is there any goals that you have in mind that you want to accomplish?
That's a great question. I would like to work from home and not have to be at a certain spot from this time to this time. And I want to be able to help Cooper on his goal, that's my son, to help him on his goals to becoming whatever it is he wants to be, whether it's an actor or a basketball player, whatever it is. I want to be able to be there if he needs me for anything. And, you know, I want to be able to be a good wife and mom. I mean, it's hard when I don't have a lot of time. I guess another goal would be to help people understand what it's like to go through what I went through with cancer. Because a lot of people who get it and get diagnosed with it don't have any other family members or friends that have gone through it, so they don't really know how to act. And that's a big deal because I lost a lot of friends from getting cancer, and I think it was more of the fact that they were afraid if they called, I wasn't going to pick up the phone. So I want to be able to help them understand what they're going through and what to expect from your spouse, what to expect from your friends, what to expect from your siblings or your kids. Because now that I've been through it, I know basically what's going to happen, and at least I can prepare them so that they don't get, upset if they lose friends. It's not that big of a deal, that you just call them and say, hey, I am still here. I promise you I'm here, and, it's hard, but if you lose their friendship, it's okay. You go on with it, you deal with it. It's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I mean, that is definitely a goal.
And I think with your situation, when you had cancer, you didn't really tell a lot of people, did you? Because I don't remember ever.
I didn't. I
didn't know. And I was like, what? You went through what?
I think it was more because I was afraid of how people would see me. And now that's gone completely out the door. I honestly don't care how people see me now. Where before, when I got sick, I did care what people thought about me. Now I don't care. So that is very true. I didn't tell a lot of people until I was like 5 or 6 months into having treatments, and then getting told you're going to have to do it forever. I had to tell people because they would see me with this pack on me that looked like a fanny pack and with cords going through my body. They're going to be asking what it is. So I did keep it a secret for a long time. I shouldn't have done that because the power of prayer is powerful, and I shouldn't have kept it a secret.
Well, yeah, the support that you can get from other people, and you just never know what may come your way that could really help. So nobody should ever go through that alone, just with their family, for sure. You need a village.
You do, and luckily I got my village, and I am not, I ask for prayers every time I have a test, because if you have 10,000 people praying for you at one time, odds are you're going to be fine.
That's pretty powerful. Yeah.
It really is. In fact, just this last time I had my test was a few weeks ago. I could feel it. It's weird, but I could feel the power of people praying. I could feel it. And I knew I was going to be fine.
Awesome. So right now I'm helping you out with your website.
Yes.
We're going to get that up and running for you. So everybody that's watching this, there'll be a link below once I get it up and running to Heather's website. And before that, she does have a Facebook page. We'll make sure we get that link below, as soon as we can. So if anybody has any questions, anything that they want to contact her about, if you're going through, either cancer or any type of illness, or just having a hard time in life, she's a life coach, and she's also a cancer life coach, so she can do those two things. And then she's also an angel card reader, so she really has a strong connection to her spirit guides, to your spirit guides, to the angels, and to the universe. So I highly recommend that you connect with her so she can help you through those times and get you on the other side. So thank you, Heather, so much for being here. This has been awesome, and I've gotten to know you even more on a deeper level, and that's what's I think is important as a friendship.
Absolutely. I know we'll be friends forever.
Yes, ma'am. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.